Hey, it is February 13th, another beautiful day out, and I'll tell you about the weather coming up in just a moment because this is really going to continue for quite some time. We have a couple doctors on from Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center, and they're going to talk about cardiovascular surgery. They are both within that department there, and we're going to talk about basically how to keep your heart healthy. Then for the Republican Club, we have a couple guests coming on. I'm going to talk about their upcoming events and meetings. And Erica Ritchie will be here with all the latest Globe headlines. Now, as far as meetings go today, there are a couple. United has their Landscape Committee meeting in the boardroom, meets at 9:30. And at 10 o'clock, Mutual 50 over there in the Towers, they have their agenda workshop, and that will be at the Towers Key Club. So if you live over there, you can drop in on that. Now, let's get to the weather, and I don't know if you want to call it good news or bad news. The bad news is this is, we're in the middle of February, and we had a dry January. We're having a dry February, and according to long-term reports, it looks just like there's going to be little to no rain for the remainder of February. So going forward, we're going to be seeing the same weather all the way into next week. Again, a little change in temperature here and there. Maybe we get a little morning fog. As you saw this morning, we had some hazy fog out there. It's pretty much gone. Same thing tomorrow. And then as we get to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it looks like another round of offshore winds coming in, unfortunately. But the temperatures are all going to hover to mid to upper 60s, 70 degrees. The overnights, you can say, are staying very consistent to the mid to upper 40s. That's going to continue. Now, again, coming into next week, they're looking at Santa Ana wind conditions by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As we've seen, that could fluctuate as we get there as far as exactly what day, the way it hits down here. But, unfortunately, this is the time of year we should be getting rain once a week or at least once every couple weeks in a decent amount. So we get 3 or 4 inches in the month of February. So far we've had a quarter inch, so that's not good. Let's look around everywhere in the Southland. Again, not much difference in the temperatures. You're going to see those same temperatures really over the next week or so. When those Santa Ana winds come up, as you notice, we always get the beach communities rise in temperature, and Palm Springs is usually a little bit less. But this is going to be what it is over the next several days. A few degrees difference here and there. And maybe a little more fog tomorrow morning. We had a little this morning, and it dissipated really quickly. I'm hoping tomorrow we have a little bit more. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Vince Ferragamo. I spent some of my best years as an NFL quarterback, but today I've got a new team, and we're helping seniors who spent their best years fighting for our country, defending our freedom, and informing the nation. Our hometown heroes need help. AgeWell Senior Services is their lifeline. Nonprofit AgeWell can do all of this because you care enough to give. Please join me in supporting AgeWell. Donate today.
At Freedom Village Assisted Living, we provide loving care and support when your loved one needs it most. We believe in laughing more and caring more. Dining will be an experience, not just a meal. We offer opportunities to create new memories. Your family will feel like they are part of our family as we work toward creating an extraordinary difference in lives worth living. To schedule a tour and complimentary lunch and for more information, please call us at 949-340-8108 or visit our website, freedomvillage.org.
Achieve a level of comfort you've never known before. The Daydreamer will take you through smooth movements and guide you effortlessly into your favorite positions. Adjust the power pillow for ideal support for your head and neck. This and our positioning technology allows for infinite relaxation. Lay back in zero gravity while watching TV and put your body and mind at ease. Lift your spirits and find your favorite daydream. Contact your local Golden retailer today.
Saddleback Memorial Medical Center is one of HealthGrade's America's 50 Best Hospitals. When you choose a hospital that's been named one of America's 50 Best Hospitals by HealthGrades, you can feel a lot more confident that you'll receive the right care. Saddleback Memorial Medical Center demonstrated superior performance across many of the conditions they treat and procedures they provide. As one of America's 50 Best Hospitals for 2016, Saddleback Memorial Medical Center offers a high level of comprehensive quality care over time. Only 1% of America's hospitals achieve this distinction. Considering this hospital in your search for the right care is one step you can take to ensure you receive the best care for your needs.
Being recognized by HealthGrades as one of America's 50 best hospitals is a testament to the dedication of our more than 3,400 physicians, staff, and volunteers, along with the unwavering commitment from our donors and supporters within the Laguna Woods community. We look forward to serving Laguna Woods for many years to come.
Well, it's my pleasure to have a couple of gentlemen, a couple of doctors from Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Jeffrey Altschuler here. He's the Medical Director of Cardiovascular Surgery at Memorial Care Heart and Vascular Institute at Saddleback Medical Center. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
And we'd also like to welcome Dr. Mark Sakwa, and you are the Chief of Cardiovascular Surgery over there at Memorial Care Heart and Vascular Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
So both of you.
Thank you very much.
And you were just telling me just a couple minutes ago that you're both new to the area. Am I right?
Correct. Just moved out here a month ago. We've worked together for 30 years and decided it was time for a change in a career and a nice opportunity.
Where are you from?
The Detroit area.
Okay, both of you.
Both
Yeah.
of us.
All right. So, welcome to our nice weather. Although, as I was saying, we could use a little bit more rain, but quite different from that area. And it's great to have you out here.
Thank you.
So, what made you choose to come to this area, and particularly Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center?
We were fortunate to have an opportunity to hear about a position that had opened up with Memorial Care. They were looking for heart surgeons to run multiple hospitals, but particularly
Yeah.
here at Saddleback. We had been together for 30 years, thought we had one new adventure in us, and decided this was a great place to venture to.
Yeah, and I see that at least for you, I don't know for you, Doctor, but you also are at Long Beach.
Yes.
And that's, of course, part of Memorial Care as well, a Long Beach Medical Center. So, we all hear about different types of heart diseases, and I think even to this day, for some people, it can be a little confusing what that means. So I'll ask you first, if you don't mind me calling you Jeff.
No problem.
Tell us about heart diseases, the types, and
Well, kind of break it down, the three types of diseases we treat are coronary artery disease, blockages that cause heart attacks
Right.
that typically patients will have stents for or bypass surgery. Then there's valvular disease, where the valves are either stenotic, getting too tight, or leaking too much, in which there's a couple of ways of treating that surgically and with catheters. We fix the valves, repair the valves. Kind of in that area, and I can let Mark talk about that a little bit more too, is we've evolved from going through the breastbone to making a small incision and replacing the valves that way. And then kind of the third area is the blood vessels from the heart in the chest. When people get aneurysms, dissections, and treating those a lot of times now without surgery with catheters and kind of relining the arteries from the inside.
so Mark, over the years, probably over the last 20 years especially, we have seen so much advances, particularly in minimally invasive surgeries, if I said that right.
That's right.
In fact, many years ago, I was at a company up in the Bay Area, not that I'm a doctor of any means, but it was a company called Heartport at the time that developed one of the first mechanisms to go up through your leg and that sort of thing. And that was such new technology, but nowadays, that's how a lot of it is done, right?
Well, I won't say a lot of it is done, but it's certainly we've embraced that technology. It's interesting you mentioned Heartport, because that was kind of like the initial groundbreaking for these minimally invasive valve procedures. And now we've used, even still today, use some of that technology in performing these procedures. One of the things that Jeff and I are sort of known for and what we've kind of embraced are minimally invasive approaches to heart surgery. We'd like to look at the patient realizing that they have, you know, a serious problem, but we'd like to treat it in the least invasive way for them because that promotes early recovery. They get back to playing golf quicker. They get back to doing their activities quicker. And I think this community likes golf, so
yes, they do.
We can get them back
and
to
activities
doing those things.
in general.
Right.
They do.
So that's one of the things that we have embraced. So we can do our valve replacements through tiny incisions in the chest wall without opening the breastbone. Or if they're not a candidate for that procedure, we can now mount those valves on a catheter and go up through the groin and place a valve inside their native valve.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's what, 20 years ago when I first heard about, and I was just amazed by that. It was a couple doctors from Stanford University.
That's right.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's talk about heart disease in general. And I think a lot of people probably understand some of the risk factors, smoking and, for a lot of people maybe being overweight and, not enough activity and that sort of thing. Is that still the basics of heart disease, along with what about something that runs your family, hereditary?
Probably the most important thing is the family. Picking the right parents. But everybody knows, you don't smoke, you exercise, and it doesn't mean you have to go out and run a marathon three times a week. It just be active, walking, physically engaged. Again, I said smoking, controlling blood pressure, diabetes. So that really has not changed much in the last years.
I would add that, as Jeff said, if you have the genes and you're predisposed to heart disease, then by living the proper lifestyle, if you will, with good diet and exercise, will at least delay the onset of some of these potential symptoms that come with the heart disease. The other thing that's been fascinating is the drugs to lower cholesterol and lipids in your body. They work.
They do.
And so people who have high cholesterol and get on these drugs, they will really slow down the progression of their coronary artery disease.
What about screenings in general, the type that are available? And I guess what I want to ask along that is, I think to this day you go to your primary, and for most people, they're there for a fairly short amount of time. Let's say their annual checkup. They're fairly healthy people, and they check your blood pressure and that sort of thing. Are we at the point, though, once you get to a certain age, that you need more annual or biannual screenings that can really look at sort of the mapping in your body of the major arteries and vascular system, where they can see, hey, yeah, you have a blockage here, or maybe you don't. That's not showing up by just, checking your cholesterol.
I think the screenings are good. A lot of times, again, particularly women, don't have typical symptoms of heart disease. People always think heart attacks. You can picture, this is the big one, squeezing chest, but there's a lot of subtle symptoms that people say, I don't have heart problems because I don't have the classic symptoms. And I think screening can uncover a lot of those issues before they become major issues.
Okay, and is that really on the primary, your primary doctor, where, again, they're going to check your blood pressure, and then maybe once a year they draw blood and look at your cholesterol level? Is that going to tell them enough?
It may not. As Jeff said, some of the symptoms are very subtle. Nowadays, there's less invasive ways, if you will, to actually test for coronary artery disease. As you get older, and if you have a strong family history, certainly stress tests still give quite a bit of information. I think people should have stress tests.
Can you explain that, a stress test?
So a stress test is when you stress the individual either on a treadmill or on a bicycle, and you give it what we call thallium, sort of a radioactive material that can show whether or not the heart is getting enough blood supply in certain areas. So if you have a blockage, you can see whether or not there is an area that's not getting enough blood supply, which can lead to some type of intervention if necessary to prevent the heart attack. As well, nowadays we can use CAT scans to evaluate the coronary arteries. We can measure the amount of calcium in the arteries, so called the calcium score. Or we can actually get really good pictures now of the arteries just with a CAT scan and some dye to see whether or not there's blockages. And we can even take a measurement within that artery to see how narrow it actually is.
Okay, so is that something that Again, you get checked, you talk to your primary care about your history, and the first level is maybe that stress test, and then from there, they might go more to the screenings.
Yes, I think that's probably the way it is right now, but probably in the future, that CAT scan may become first line.
Yeah, which I think would be great. I have two, I'm lucky here, I have two heart surgeons here, so I'm going to ask a question about the wearable devices we have right now that often can detect maybe a problem, EKG and that sort of things. And there's been a lot of talk about how they've helped a lot of people, how reliable they are. Jeff, what's your opinion on those?
I think they're great, give great insight into patients' symptoms. A lot of times a patient trying to relate a symptom to a physician is hard. And the physician's trying to decide what's really going on. If you have some objective measurements of irregular heartbeats, change in heartbeats to correlate, that provides a lot of insight into the patient's, what's going on with the patient.
Yeah, that's good to know. Another question I have that people have heard of over the years is, and I've heard that it's changed, is salt in your diet, high sodium levels. And I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 5 years ago, the CDC actually raised that level from what it was, what they thought was good, and then they go, no, we think you can be up to this level. How do you look at that as far as sodium levels?
So there's a condition called congestive heart failure that is more prevalent in our society than people really realize. In fact, it's kind of a new frontier as to what we're looking at and trying to get early intervention and treat. People who have congestive heart failure may have had coronary artery disease in a previous heart attack or valvular heart disease where there's some damage to the heart muscle. In those patients, if they eat a lot of salt, they will retain a lot of fluid and they will exacerbate their congestive heart failure.
All right.
But if you don't have a lot of heart failure, I'm not sure that I think salt is as important, except in that group.
Okay, of course you don't want to overdo it on anything.
And I think the important thing about salt is you need salt in your diet. Where people get tripped up in their diet is they say, well, I don't take the salt shaker and do this. Processed foods is the killer for salt. You have to read a label and see how much sodium is in those products. That's
and I always say, tell people, why is it when you go out and you have that meal at that nice restaurant, why does it taste so good? Well, there's two factors they use: a lot of salt and a lot of butter. So, on that same line, are there heart-healthy foods? Over the years, again, you hear about oatmeal and things like that. Is that true? I mean, can people obviously cut down on the things we should cut down on, but by having more leafy greens and oatmeal and those kinds of things, is that a help?
I think everybody, you need fat in your diet, you need protein in your diet, you need carbohydrate in your diet. The trick is knowing what's the good fats, what's the bad fats, what's good carbohydrates, what's bad carbohydrates, what provides fiber, what's good proteins, what's not good proteins. So it's eating a smart diet, not a fad diet.
Yeah, see, I like this guy. All right, let's talk about treatments for people who have heart disease. Again, it's going to be different at what level that they are, but still, what can people do?
So if you have coronary artery disease, nowadays, certainly there's great medical treatment for it. But if you fail the medical treatment, the disease progresses. There's obviously opportunities to treat that with stents, which is like a coil that opens up inside the artery to take away the blockage. And there's still bypass surgery, which is still the staple of what we do as heart surgeons. Bringing it to the next level is valvular heart disease. Nowadays, treating that can be done, as we mentioned, minimally invasive surgically or sometimes with a catheter. And then aortic aneurysm disease, why don't you tell them what you do for that?
The thoracic aorta is the main artery of the heart, and probably the most devastating disease we see that is called an aortic dissection, where the artery starts to tear. And a lot of times now we treat that again with catheters and relining the artery from the inside. 15, 20 years ago, treating that surgically was just a massive, massive operation with 6-8 months of recovery before you felt normal. So it was quite an advance to be able to do a procedure where the patient is out of the hospital in 2 days with a needle stick in their groin and no big incision on their chest.
Yeah, that is amazing. The advances is just tremendous. I want to tell folks about a great sort of a seminar event that will be happening on Thursday, February 27th, and it's going to be called the Minimally Invasive Approaches to Cardiac Diseases over at Saddleback Medical Center. And the program, they're going to have screenings going from 4:30 to 6:30. Those will be by appointment. And then the program will be 6:30 to 8. Dinner will be provided, I assume a nice healthy dinner, right?
I hope so.
And if you'd like to find out more information on that or schedule a time, especially for these screenings, I think this is fantastic. Please give them a call. It's 800 Memorial 636-6742, and the website is memorialcare.org/SB classes. And you both will be over there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great to meet you. Detroit's loss is our gain.
Oh, that's nice.
It's great to have you here.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so
doctors.
much.
Hope to see you both again. This has been a fun conversation and very.
Not over there.
Yeah, not over there. Well, maybe for this event, but
Right,
not. Yeah.
right.
All right. We'll see you next time. We'll be right back.
Breast cancer takes patients down paths they never expected, and Memorial Care Comprehensive Breast Center at Saddleback can help navigate the way. We provide multidisciplinary breast care services for the early detection, diagnosis, and treatment of breast cancer using state-of-the-art technology in a personalized environment designed to meet the needs of each woman.
How are you making the most of your life, and do you apply that same devotion to planning your financial future? A train off its tracks goes nowhere. Having a financial plan that is consistent with your lifestyle will keep you on track through your retirement years.
Align Wealth Advisors specializes in creating a financial strategy that best fits your needs and your lifestyle, now and in the future.
Align Wealth Advisors. Life, wealth, balance.
Envision, the eye doctor's #1 choice.
We are a community of surgeons and optometrists dedicated to helping you live better by seeing better.
We offer advanced lens options to fit your lifestyle. We also offer the latest in laser technology for cataract surgery. We are Envision, the eye doctor's #1 choice.
With clear vision, all things are possible. To schedule your appointment, contact us at 866-599-2740.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Did you know there are over 400,000 seniors in Orange County today? So where does a senior or family caregiver go for information and resources? You can turn to the Answers Guide, published by the Council on Aging Southern California. Answers is full of articles and resources to help you navigate the aging experience. You can pick up your free copy today at the clubhouse nearest you or at the Social Services Office. The Council on Aging, helping seniors remain healthy, connected, and protected.
With me right now, a couple ladies from the Laguna Woods Village Republican Club. We have Phyllis Nielsen here today and Carolyn Minot. And great to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
Happy you could have us.
Well, it's always great to have people coming on from all the different clubs and organizations.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing they have here in the woods.
Yeah.
They make it, everybody is welcome to come and talk about what they're doing and what they're interested in.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
So you folks are going to be having an event coming up on February 28th, right?
Yes, we're having our monthly meeting, and our speaker is going to be Greg Huey. And Mr. Huey is a small businessman. He's a consultant, and he works internationally. and a business consultant, I should say. And he is also a lecturer and very interested in politics.
Okay.
And his lists are always very popular. People always want to get a hold of them because my main interest in his abilities as a lecturer and Politico is that he zeroes in a lot on judges.
Okay.
It's very difficult, you may have found out, to find out anything about people that are running for a judge. And occasionally we get them coming to the club and talking to us, but mostly you just have to go by. If you want to find out anything about them or their political ideas, going online doesn't always help. Mm-hmm. The governor that put them in office, that gave them their judgeship, Democrats have put Republicans in. Republicans have put staunch Democrats in the judiciary. And so if you want to know kind of where they're coming from, it's hard to find out. And he seems to have a key to, an ability to find out what their MO is and how they've judged in the past, how they've reasoned. And that's good to know. You kind of want to get an eye handle on who these people are and what they think and what's important to them.
That is, it's a very good point, Phyllis, because with the election coming up, obviously you have the big ticket items, right? We all know who's running for Congress and this and that.
Right, exactly.
And obviously you're from the Republican Club, so we know your views on that. But when it comes to these lesser offices, judges, you might have somebody running for the county clerk. I don't know if he's running this time or not, but just an example, all these different lower end offices, and I'm not trying to belittle them, but they are the ones you don't see much about, you don't read much about. You just see a name and I kind of recognize that name. The judges, though,
it's very important.
Yeah, once in a while we will have, I know in the past, we will have one or two judges that are running that'll come on. That's very, very rare that happens, but it's important, isn't it?
It is very important, and they need to come to us and make themselves known.
They do, yes.
More than they are. They don't make the effort.
Yeah, and I know for them, recently we had somebody on, we were talking about the Orange County Grand Jury, and the judge, she oversees that. Really, a really nice lady, and we were talking about that off camera a little bit. And you look on the ballots and it's going, judges for room 428. You're like, what the heck is that? And even she was saying, yeah, it's very, very hard. It's usually the people that vote for you know you, and that's about it. Or they just pick the first name at the top of the list.
Yes, and that's why it is nice when they do take the time to come and tell you who they are and what they stand for, what's important to them, and how they try to judge, to legislate fairly,
right?
And which is probably, and it's a heavy responsibility being a judge, having the power over another human being of so many things to judge someone, and that's got to be a difficult position to be in.
Yeah.
And I speak to friends of mine and relatives who are not conservative, and they say the same thing. They can't find out anything about a judge when
it comes to
they'd
judges,
like to know too.
It's everybody.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a blurry area.
So this is something this gentleman is going to be talking about?
Yes. And he also has a list that I believe you can purchase his list if you go online, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I haven't had a chance to meet Mr. Huey yet, but I'm anxious to, as I said, and I'm anxious to be able to ask him questions and find out everything I can about the candidates he supports and why. And because I don't always agree with the conservatives. Sometimes, sometimes I have a question in my mind about where they stand on things and how firmly they would stand on things.
And we have a couple, I think one or two, I think just two major ballot measures, proposition measures on the ballot this time around.
Laguna Woods.
Yeah, of course there's the state one, which is 13, not to be confused with the other 13.
Exactly.
But it is. It's just, by the way, the numbering it starts at 1 and goes up to whatever it is and then starts back again. It just happens to be called 13 this time around. And of course here, locally, there's different measures on the ballot as well. And you've got to take a chance to look at them. And Quite often, when it comes to some of the local ones, it's not whether they're conservative or liberal or whatever. It's just you need to figure out if that's something that agrees with you.
That you think is, that you think is going to be workable, that you agree with,
Yeah.
or think should be passed.
Well,
So
Craig has a couple of websites that people can go onto and see what he thinks. He's got one called judgevoterguide.com.
Okay. Very good.
And there's lavoterguide.com. And there is, I think there's one other, election-forum.org.
Okay.
So if they go onto those websites, they could learn a lot.
All right. And again, you were telling me, Carolyn, that it's February 28th.
yes.
Right, which
The
is my
next
sister's
meeting,
birthday.
Friday, February 28th.
I remember that, but I have to look over here at the time.
Clubhouse 5.
Clubhouse 5.
And it's $20. Is it still
Members, it's 18.
18, and it's still 20 for
Yes.
okay,
non-members.
and that is at 11:30, and then you serve lunch. So you
Yes,
pay
you get
for
a wonderful
as well.
lunch, and from Yolanda. She does a great job.
Yes, she does.
Yes, and it's always interesting.
Okay, I think that's great.
See what's going on, yeah.
And again, you know, we tell folks, yes, this is the Republican Club. We say this with the Democratic Club or whatever. More information is always good. It doesn't matter what your affiliation is. You're talking, this guy's going to talk about judges. So as you said, you know, you never know what they are and who they
That's
are.
right,
It's just
and that was the thing
information.
that particularly attracted me.
I think that's really good.
Plus, just as a side thing, I found out that he had worked as a student teacher at my old high school at Poly High in Long Beach.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and evidently he went to Long Beach State. So it was just interesting to find out that he spent some time in Long Beach, too.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Back in
again,
his beginning days.
yeah, this will happen on February 28th,
Mm-hmm.
and you're all welcome to go there. If you want more information.
Yes, we welcome people. We've had representatives from Cotty Porter and also from, oh no, I can't think of her name. Who is our Congresswoman?
No, that's Katie Porter.
Katie Porter, and then Cotty Petrie Norris.
Yeah, she's the assembly.
We've had people come from, and everybody, the Republicans love talking to them.
Yeah.
And we give them lunch
I think that's
and invite
great.
them to come because we want to hear, they are our representatives,
Right.
and we want to hear what's going on and what they're doing.
Very good. I want to thank you both for coming on. And folks, if you go to the web pages, as you know, the club pages, and go to Republican Club, you have information there about all this. Because you have another meeting a month later in March, and I'm sure you'll come back and talk about that.
Oh,
as
we
well.
will. We'd be
All
happy
right.
to if you'll have us.
Phyllis, thank you. Carolyn, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
At Diane's Hallmark, we're ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Come in and see our great selection of cards and gifts. We have everything you need to show that special someone how much you care. And don't forget those grandkids either. Diane's Hallmark has many cards and gifts for them as well. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Marketplace Center, right next to Hobby Lobby. We have something for everyone. Come in today and take care of all your Valentine's Day needs.
Before the next earthquake, take 30 seconds to refresh your memory about these important disaster preparedness tips. Make a family emergency plan. Decide how you'll get in touch with each other, where you'll go, and what you'll do in an emergency. Build a disaster supply kit with enough water, food, and emergency supplies to last at least 3 days. It's important to have disaster supply kits for work, cars, and pets too. Find and fix items in your home that might hurt someone by moving, breaking, or falling during an earthquake. Know how to react safely when the ground shakes. If you're inside, stay there. Remember to drop, cover, and hold on. Drop down onto your hands and knees and cover your head and neck with your arms to protect yourself from falling objects. If you can move safely, crawl under a sturdy desk or table and hold on to one of the legs until the shaking stops. After an earthquake, help people who are hurt or trapped. Call 911 for emergencies only. Check your home for damage, including gas or water leaks, damaged wiring, or downed power lines. Protect your family and your home by making a plan, building a kit, and practicing disaster drills at least twice a year. Be sure to visit readyoc.org for more information on emergency preparedness and alertoc.com to sign up for emergency alerts and notifications. We want you to be prepared for a disaster just as much as you do.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha Na Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village television. Grease for peace.
And we have Erica Ritchie with us today, who oversees many of the articles in Laguna Woods Globe. Of course, she's with the Orange County Register. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you here today.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Good morning, villagers. How are you today? So, yeah, I guess kind of some of the big news that we have is the Taj Mahal building right over here at Paseo de Valencia and El Toro Road. And it's just been sold for a whopping $42 million. And it's iconic column structure. The building was actually built in 1964 and originally housed some of the top people from the Leisure World Retirement Village, including Ross Cortese. And I know, actually, I remember earlier in my coverage for the Register in probably the mid-2000s, before there was kind of the changeover with the village and everything, and we went into those buildings a lot, and I guess now it's been bought by Healthcare Realty, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm not sure.
It's mainly health offices there, right?
Yeah,
medical offices now?
It's health offices, and I remember they were always very, you know, the hallways were kind of narrow and like smaller rooms, so I wonder if there's going to be a renovation plan for it. I don't know. But our real estate writer, John Lansner, wrote the story in the Register, and it'll be is in today's Globe. And he probably went into a few more details on it, I would expect.
Did you know that years ago this was used as a location in the 1960s for, I don't know if it was like the Twilight Zone episode or something like that, Outer Limits. And I don't know if we showed it here. I remember seeing it. I might have been on YouTube. But it was really interesting because this was something that the premise of this guy is being driven out to this place, like this secret location, and is it real or it's not real?
Oh, that's cool.
But the funny thing is, when they're walking around it, obviously the camera is panning around, and of course there's nothing around it.
Yeah.
It was interesting to look over, you know, the hospital wasn't there, certainly the mall, nothing, and to see just all these kind of fields and a few little buildings off. But it was really neat. You should look that up.
Yeah, I will. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was a very, you know, interesting architectural feat at the time of its, you know, of its building. So I will. I'll check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we had the Video Club had its annual winners contest, and it was held over at Clubhouse 2 on Monday, February the 3rd. And the winners this year were Fred Harshbarger, and he got excellent. Oh, I skipped over. Stephanie Brasher got best in show, so we have to give have her name number 1. Fred Harshbarger was second with excellent, and Don Hill got outstanding. And this was the 10th annual Goldie Awards banquet that was attended by over 80 guests during the event. And Brasher's video was kind of a tribute to fallen American heroes, and that was called Abraham, Martin, and John. And then the other video was Memories, and that was kind of fall foliage that was, I guess, as kind of a story, a compilation of shooting, photographing fall foliage, and then in New England. And then the last one was Found My Bucket List, and that was kind of a humorous way of him tracing his longtime goal of his bucket lists and some of the things that he wanted to do. So, yeah, so that was really awesome. So it was selected by 80 people who were part of the club, and they all, you know, they watched the videos and then decided who was going to be the winner. So that's kind of neat. I wonder if maybe next year there'll be even more.
Yeah, they've been doing this for a while, and it's always interesting to see what they put out.
It'd be kind of neat to show some clips here, maybe.
Well, we do have the Video Club. They do one of them as Welcome to My Home, and a few others and all. And it's really neat to look at their travels and all the stuff they do.
Yeah. I wonder
Good
what
stuff, yeah.
the strangest video ever was. That'd be interesting, right?
That would be interesting. I don't know. Do we want to see that? I don't know.
Yeah. So if people in the village are looking for anyone to do handy work at home, kind of like moving boxes or organizing things, if you've got like all kinds of things that you need to or books, maybe, shelve, things like that, there's a new handyman service that is going to be available, and it's called Neighboring. And this service is run by a 24-year-old from Mission Viejo. His name is Josh Mundell. And it's basically over 100 college kids that help with this. And you can hire them. I think the rate is $18 to $26 per hour. And you can hire them, and they'll go and do some of these tasks. None of it does not include, however, doing anything like painting or plumbing or kind of like those typical handyman things. So it would be just kind of for some lighter work around the house. But still, that's a neat option for people to have. You can call them, and then I guess you can either book an appointment with them over the phone or online.
Yeah, it's really easy. We have had Josh on in the past, and we used him, not him personally, but his service at our house once to move some things around. And it's really nice. And the way we paid them at the time, I think we used Zelle or whatever it was, or maybe we used Apple Pay. I forget what it was, but they have different ways that you can set that up, and really nice people.
Yeah, and I mean, it gives college kids a nice opportunity to earn some money, and you kind of know who's in your house because they're all vetted, and sometimes that's a nice thing, and some of the residents might even strike up a friendship with some of these kids down the road. So so that's a neat opportunity coming back. Then we talked about this before. We talked about all the trees that are in the village, right? And we talked about the United Mutual voting to decide. There was a suggestion that it might be a good way to maintain trees by species. And so they decided, yes, that's what they wanted to do. The vote was 10-01. And with this new arrangement with the trees, what they're going to do is kind of go species by species. I think overall there are more than 200 species maintained by the Mutual, and they are going to just assess the trees and decide which ones need pruning, if some need to be cut down, sadly if they're not doing well, or that type of thing. And the only dissenter in this was Elsie Addington. She abstained in the vote. Excuse me.
And of course that makes sense because they grow at different rates. They have different, just like people. Yeah. They have different needs at different times of the year.
Yeah. No, it's kind of a smart way. They think that's also a way that they're going to be able to save some money. Yeah. Than rather just kind of randomly going through the whole slew of trees. Lastly, well, kind of second to lastly. The City of Laguna Woods is going to celebrate the African American History Month, and it's going to be done through poetry. And the event is going to take place next Wednesday, February the 19th, and it'll be at the City Hall Council Chambers. And there will be a lot of different poems read by notable African Americans, including some folks that are also members of the village or residents of the village. So that'll be a fun thing to go and learn about.
And we had Dr. Fran Williams on with the African American Club here, and want to mention that we're going to be showing that live on it's Channel 3 because that's what the City Council is on now, and then we'll rebroadcast that a few times as well.
So you'll actually show the event, the poetry reading itself.
Yeah, but remember, not Channel 6, Channel 3, because that is the channel for City Council. So,
okay, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Then in our letters, we got a full page again this week, which we love. We love hearing from everybody. And so the letters this week included bus routes, the elimination of the after 5 p.m. bus service, which I could understand people would be a little peeved about, right? If you want to go somewhere after 5 p.m., that's kind of early in the day to end. The driving range improvements, and then this is our featured letter from Mark Burgent, who wrote this on behalf of his mother, Rose. And this is actually kind of shocking, so villagers, you might want to pay attention just to these details in the event that you know something. So apparently on December 18th, at around 5:45 p.m., Rose Burgett, who's a resident here in the village, was hit by a car as she was leaving, or the car was leaving from Clubhouse 1.
So
she
on
was
property here.
Yeah,
okay.
She was in the parking lot at Clubhouse 1, and apparently the male driver got out of his car, looked at her lying on the ground, and then got back in the car and left. And so the Orange County Sheriff's Department is now looking at this as a hit and run, you know, and is looking for any help that anyone in the village may have. If you saw anything or were around Clubhouse 1 at the time when this happened, or know anything about somebody maybe who has an odd dent on their car. I'm not clear on, he didn't write about if there were injuries or what the injuries were. Hopefully there weren't any, or if it was something mild. I mean, even from being struck and lying on the ground, you'd probably have some type of an abrasion, I think. But anyhow, so if anyone in the village has information on that, please pass that along. Okay, very good. And I understand that we're going to talk about this next time a little bit, that you went on an Osprey with the, was it the Marines? Yeah, so so there was a huge training exercise called Iron Fist that was held at Camp Pendleton. It's actually concluding this weekend. We will have a story and photos in the Globe next week about this. It was an amazing experience. So Iron Fist is a collaboration between the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force and the Marine Corps and the Navy. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and so basically this year is the 60th anniversary of the Japan-U.S. Treaty. So, so you know, President Eisenhower signed this signed the treaty in 1960, and basically says that America or the U.S. can station up to 10,000 troops in Japan. But it's also kind of with the caveat if Japan is attacked in any way, the U.S. is there to help. Right. And so this training exercise, which was in its 15th year this year, is a way of building efficiency among the Japanese soldiers, particularly in amphibious assault. So I was actually on the Osprey. I flew to, there was a press conference held on the USS Pearl Harbor on Monday, which was amazing. So I flew from Marine Corps Air Station Camp Pendleton on an Osprey to the Pearl Harbor, landed there, listened to a press conference by a bunch of generals, including some Japanese generals, flew back. Actually, we made a stop on the USS Portland, so it was down and up again. Wow. And we were all warned by the Marine Corps. Of course, we had on our helmets and our vests and our oxygen tank with the oxygen flowing, like with the thing right by your face, so you'd put it on in the event of. And so the Marine Corps actually told us, yeah, well, you know, if the Osprey goes down, you know, we'll get you in the raft as soon as we can. Or, you know, if there's a fire on board, we'll try to put it out. So, I mean, kind of hearing that in advance was a little bit scary. But the Osprey had a bad rap during the Iraq and Afghanistan war. I mean, it was at one point named the Flying Coffin. But over the years, they've really perfected it, and the aviators are amazing, and, you know, it went out. We're looking forward to hearing more about that next week. Absolutely. I will. That is really cool. Great. Thank you for all this. We appreciate it. So we'll see you next week, and we'll be right back.
There's never quite enough time. We try to make the most of it, to find more of it, to cherish each and every moment. At Memorial Care, we value your time. So we're bringing more locations closer to you. Because having award-winning physicians in your own neighborhood means getting to appointments faster and enjoying a healthier life. We're here, with care where you need it.
Welcome to Harvard Eye Associates. We have been proudly serving Orange County for over 40 years. We are excited to announce our Laguna Hills location will be moving to a larger, state-of-the-art facility in January 2020, located a block away from our previous location. Our new facility will be conveniently located next to Saddleback Hospital and across from Nordstrom Rack at 23961 Calle de la Magdalena. Come join the Circle of Care at Harvard Eye Associates, where the future of vision is today.
Do you know that the Laguna Hills Lodge was originally built as a place for relatives or friends to stay when they were visiting? In 1968, Laguna Woods' residents built the first 2 buildings of the lodge because they wanted a place close by for visitors to stay. Since then, the lodge has become the spare bedroom for the Laguna Woods' residents. The lodge has received the TripAdvisor Award of Excellence 8 years in a row. We invite you to stay in one of our recently remodeled garden rooms and take advantage of a special offer for Laguna Woods' residents, family, and friends.
The 2020 election is ushering in a new and exciting change for all of Orange County voting residents. We've always been a leader in election innovation, and now that same strength and legacy are coming to the election process with our new vote centers. This historic shift in voting from traditional polling places to vote centers will make it more convenient, more secure, and more accessible for all voters. As technology is constantly advancing and voter habits change, the traditional polling place model has fallen behind the needs of Orange County voters. We are now introducing vote centers to Orange County. This new way to vote means we are no longer restricted to voting on just one day. We take away the confusion of which polling place to cast your ballot, and we modernize, simplify, and increase security of the entire voting process. Vote centers usher in an incredible leap forward in how our elections are held. You will now be able to vote in person over an 11-day period in nearly 200 county-operated vote centers with highly trained staff that can help you from registering to vote, casting your ballot, and everything in between. Gone are the days of your address determining where you vote or the need for most provisional ballots. Now you can choose to vote at any location convenient for you. Walk in when you want and where you want. Voting in person at a vote center will be a similar experience to what you're used to, only with some exciting enhancements to make the process easier and more efficient, ensuring every vote is handled accurately and securely. Every voter will receive a ballot through the mail prior to Election Day, but this isn't your only option to vote. When voting in person, a new electronic check-in process speeds up voting time, verifies your information, and provides real-time data to election staff so they can better assist you. Regardless of how you choose to vote in person, the procedures all remain the same. If you vote by mail, you can keep voting the same way you have in the past. Your ballot and process will look the same as before. If you prefer to drop off your vote-by-mail ballot, we now have brand new ballot drop boxes located throughout Orange County. These new ballot drop boxes are easy to spot, convenient, and have enhanced security measures. Vote centers are staffed with friendly, professionally trained agents who can assist you with all of your voter needs and offer more services than the traditional polling place. If it's your first time voting or you need general voter assistance, you can stop by any vote center for help. There, they can verify your vote-by-mail ballot has been received, generate a replacement ballot, or check your registration status. We are excited about this incredible new election process that makes voting more accessible, more secure, and simply easier. For more information, please visit ocvote.com.
Our movie coming up tomorrow is a classic for sure. It came out in 1930, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This was the very first animated feature ever done by Walt Disney at that time. And as I said, it was quite a gamble on their part to do something like this, but Walt Disney really wanted to showcase what could be done in animation. And they were hoping that people would stick around instead of 7 to 10 minutes for a cartoon, nearly an hour and a half, and they did. This went on to become one of the most successful movies of all time. You know the story. I don't need to tell you the story of all this, but when you think about all this, back before there was any kind of even inkling of any kind of digital animation, all done by hand, is absolutely spectacular. Over 2 million drawings were done for this feature, and this will be tomorrow at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. Then on Monday, We have a movie that came out back in 1998, Robin Williams in Patch Adams. This is the true story of a heroic man, Hunter Patch Adams, determined to become a medical doctor because he enjoys helping people. He ventured where no other doctor had ventured before, using humor to really help his patients, and not just being that doctor that goes in and very robotic and tells them what they need to know and then walks out. Again, based on a true story. Robin Williams, one of his classic movies, and it also stars Daniel London and Monica Potter, who plays his love interest in this. Excellent movie. As I said, came out in 1998. That will be Monday at 2 and 6 o'clock. Now, as far as the weather goes, no rain in sight, unfortunately. We are just going to have the same kind of weather we have been having. Tomorrow, maybe we'll get a little fog in the morning, but overall, we're going to stay in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees all the way into next week. We are seeing the chance now of Santa Ana winds returning on Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday of next week, but overall, the temperatures are going to stay about the same. Around Orange County and elsewhere today, you will see that the temperatures are similar. Not much difference at all. Palm Springs is 74, so really nice out there. Big Bear 47, they're staying cold up there. And everywhere else, we're looking at the mid to upper 60s to maybe in North Orange County, we're looking at the low 70s up there. So some beautiful weather. As I said, tomorrow, we had a little bit of fog this morning. It didn't last that long at all. It was very slight. Tomorrow, we could have a little bit more. I'm kind of hoping we do because I like the fog. But again, no rain for quite a while, which is kind of sad. All right, tomorrow, tune in. We have United update, Sterling Financial, and also the Tea Party Sentinels. We will see you then, and you have a really good day. Take care.